The World Health Organization recommends that you eat at least 2 portions of fish every week for good health. The good news is the variety of fish now available is higher than ever. But more fish on the plate has meant a dramatic slide in the numbers in the sea. Experts say 70% of the world's fish species are in danger of collapse, and a large part of the problem lies here in Asia. I'm Taimur Nabili, and on this edition of 101 East, we look at the impact of our love affair with fish. 40 years ago, tuna was so plentiful in the seas around Asia that Australia was using the fish as pet food. Stocks collapsed rapidly and a strict quota system was introduced, but tuna is still a fish in grave danger. The focus of the debate is now Japan. With just 2% of the world's population, it eats 10% of the global fish catch, an appetite that's seen the country's fishing industry fall foul of international limits. But as Chantao Cho reports, in Japan, fish is more than just a meal. It's a way of life.
Perhaps only in Japan could a passion for fish lead to a career as a rock musician. This Tokyo band is called Gyoko, which means fishing port. By day, the band members work at a Tokyo fish market. Obsessed with tuna, they try to blend their craft and their music. To them, there is even a place for fish when it comes to social values.
Japanese spend money on mobile phones, games and leisure, but they want cheap fish. The sense of value has been turned upside down.
Dawn is yet to break over Tokyo, yet here at the Tsukiji market, another performance is already underway, involving the buyers and the auctioneers. Tuna is one of the world's most sought-after and expensive fish. Some fetch more than the price of a luxury car. Japan's fishing fleet plunders the sea for the southern bluefin tuna. That's one reason why it is so scarce. For the past 20 years, Japan has exceeded its legal limit. Conservative figures suggest it's taken an extra 178,000 tons of southern bluefin tuna. Its value somewhere between $6 and $8 billion. The initial disbelief and indignation among Japan's fishing authorities has given way to a sense of national embarrassment. Yuichiro Harada is the head of OPRT, the organization for the promotion of responsible tuna fishing.
Of course, we are ashamed that the incident overcatch happened. Controlling mechanism was not effective.
In 2006, Japan slashed its southern bluefin tuna quota in half, a tacit admission of its guilt. It is now looking to clean up its own backyard. The Shirasagi is patrolling the waters off Kobe in central Japan. Captain Masaaki Shimojo and his crew are at the forefront of Japan's attempts to conserve fish stocks, some now severely depleted. The competition among fishermen is cutthroat. For the right kind of fish, not just tuna, there is big money to be made. Illegal fishing is rife.
Overfishing is a very malicious act and can become a source of funds for organized crime.
As supply dips and demand grows, it's the spectre of organized crime, the notorious yakuza, that spells danger for the men of the Shirasagi. This tape illustrates the level of danger they face.
Sometimes a fishing boat deliberately crashes into a ship, or fishermen throw knives or other objects at us.
For tuna wholesaler Tsuninori Ida, it's the potential harm to his business that counts. Slicing quotas and a crackdown on illegal fishing will have an impact. Wielding a knife like a samurai sword, the man known simply as the boss started work here almost 50 years ago. These days, he considers China as the major threat to the fish that's been the mainstay of his business.
It's a very limited resource, and we need to cherish it. We need to worry about China. How much fish will they eat? This is my biggest concern. It's important that we value the resources.
The band Gyoko's love affair with fish leaves no doubt about how much they value it. And unless similar appreciation for tuna stock is drummed in, there could be none left to fish before long.
Next fish.
I'm joined in the studio today by Duncan Leadbitter, the Asia-Pacific Regional Director of the Marine Stewardship Council. From Sydney, by Nicola Beynon from the Animal Protection Organisation, the Humane Society International. And from Tokyo, Masanori Miyahara from Japan's Fisheries Agency. Thank you all for being with us today. Duncan Leadbitter, let me begin with you. The bluefin tuna crisis is just the sharp end of what is a much bigger story. Outline for us the problem with fish today.
Well, that's very much the case. Globally, about 25% of stocks are listed as overfished. About 50% of known global fish stocks are fully fished, and about 25% are underfished and are capable of some expansion. But by and large, the major crisis is about the poor management of fish stocks worldwide.
So we're running out of fish.
We are. I mean, the demand for fish continues to grow even though the supply from the wild harvest fisheries is at a plateau.
Nicola Beynon, we have a problem with bluefin tuna in particular, and as we saw in that package, a lot of demand coming out of Japan. How bad is that particular situation, and how responsible should Japan be for this?
The southern bluefin tuna is classified internationally as critically endangered. Its population has crashed by about 90%, so it's in a lot of trouble. It's not just Japan that's responsible for that. Australia and New Zealand, Taiwan, Korea, and increasingly Indonesia are also fishing for southern bluefin tuna. It's a species that has been mismanaged for a long time, and a lot of the responsibility for the mismanagement can fall to Japan in terms of failure to agree measures that would see southern bluefin tuna conserved. However, importantly, it's not just the southern bluefin tuna that's in trouble. Another casualty is albatross and sharks and sea turtles that get killed when they're catching southern bluefin tuna.
We'll get onto that in a moment. Let me come to Miyahara-san and just ask you what your perspective is. Japan has come under a great deal of criticism for its fisheries policies. Please explain to us what your perspective is.
Of course, sustainability of resources is the most important thing for us. Japan, one of the major fishing countries, have been working quite hard to ensure the sustainability of resources in the past.
But you've also been overfishing to a very large extent.
Mediterranean, right, but we corrected that in a timely manner. And we have some problems now in the Mediterranean. That is a major issue for us now.
Duncan, have they corrected it in a timely manner?
There was a lot of effort put into cutting back the catches, and I suppose this is where at least Japan has taken responsibility for their role in this particular issue, and it sets them apart from many other countries where you continue to see increases in quotas even though there's scientific advice against those increases. So I think that timely advice and that timely action is a very good step forward.
Nicola, the policy framework in general terms, is that appropriate, do you think, now, or does more work need to be done in Japan and in the rest of the industrialised world?
I think really there shouldn't be any more fishing for southern bluefin tuna, but pragmatically that's not going to happen. There's obviously huge value in the species, and none of the countries that are targeting it have any intention to stop fishing for it. The Japanese government was forced to reduce their quota after they were embarrassed by the enormous overcatch. However, the controls now to make sure that an overcatch doesn't continue again, they're simply not in place, and Japan is a key country that's not agreeing to greater oversight to make sure there's compliance with the quotas.
Miyahara-san, please respond to that accusation.
Of course, you see, you had a problem in the past. We corrected it, as I said to you. And now we are very seriously on the enforcement. And our enforcement is now working well. I think problem is solved now. But we have other problems too. You see, we have a lot of import of bluefin products from other countries. That is a problem now, and we have to correct that aspect too.
It's not simply Nicola Beynon who's suggesting that the oversight framework is inadequate. We hear voices, as we saw in that film, from Japan itself, suggesting that there is not enough impetus on the government side to make sure that bluefin tuna does not become an endangered or even an extinct species.
Bluefin tuna is an important species, but as a matter of fact, this is the species subject to the commercial utilization by human beings in a long time. And if we continue to work within the regional fishery management bodies, I think we can ensure the sustainability of resources. That's why I don't think we need any drastic measures at this moment.
So you think that the framework that you have in Japan right now is perfectly adequate?
In Japan and international societies too, we have 5 regional international bodies to control the catch of the tunas all over the world. We are working very seriously in all of those 5 RFMOs.
Nicola Beynon, let me come back to you for a very quick response to that.
Well, at the Southern Bluefin Tuna Commission, I was just at a meeting last week, and I can't discuss the results of that meeting yet, but let's just say over the past 10 years, the Japanese government has been resisting measures like a catch documentation scheme, independent international observers on the fleets, so that you can have international oversight. It's all very well for Japan to say, trust us, we'll make sure that things are enforced properly, but I'm afraid in international fisheries today, that's not acceptable. There does need to be international oversight and international controls, so that countries can have a lot more trust.
All right, we'll have to take a short pause. We'll continue the discussion in a moment, and we'll talk about sustainability. Is tuna farming the future? We'll have a look at the alternatives to going fishing in the ocean.